Welcome back to r/LegalAdvice, where people ask questions, get advice, and we get satisfaction. If you are new around here, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel to join our awesome community, and without any further ado, let's dive right into the stories. And the first one is titled, Cancer Hoax? 6 months ago, my husband was diagnosed with cancer. For various reasons, I am starting to think that he had been lying to me. I never went to appointments with him because I'm pregnant, and he told me being around radiation is bad for the baby. I don't have his permission to talk to any of his doctors, and no one will even tell me if he is a patient there. We took out a second mortgage to pay for treatments and medication, and we raised money on GoFundMe. I want to know how to find out the truth and if I'm going to get in trouble for committing fraud. And a user in the comments said, this may sound crazy, but have you tried talking frankly to him about it? Hey, have you been telling me about this cancer for months, but I've never been to an appointment or seen any evidence that it is real. I'm concerned that it is a fabrication. He will either provide you with evidence that it is real, or you will know that it isn't. And then OP answered in the comments, the thing is, he is sick with something, he lays on the couch all day, and he has lost weight and he is pale. I confronted him after I talked to my cousin who's a nurse, and she said his story did not add up. He said he does not want to be with someone who does not trust him. And then another person said, he does this every day or only some days and is fine others. Maybe drugs? If it is occasional sickness, those could be days he is withdrawing. If he is fine when there is money, it could be because he can buy drugs. I am just guessing, of course, I have no idea. Have you seen medical bills or documents? Someone going to cancer treatment would come home with a decent amount of paperwork explaining different things. And then OP answered again and said, he says he has cancer of the urethra. I know for a fact he is seeing an endocrinologist because we get calls from their office all the time, but I have not seen anything about an actual oncologist or a urologist or anything about cancer. And the endocrinologist is not taking insurance, he pays out of pocket. He says we are saving up for him to have surgery, but everything I have read says you have surgery before the radiation. And then someone else said, not necessarily, for some cancers, I don't know about that specific one, it is necessary to do some radiation first in order to shrink the tumor. And I gotta say guys, this is really one of the stories that makes you think, in case OP is right, okay, then obviously the husband is a douchebag, but if she's wrong, then I don't even have words to describe what she would feel like. I mean, accusing someone of faking cancer is a serious offense if you ask me. By the way, speaking of fraudulent GoFundMes, there was an interesting article a few weeks back from a British guy who was stranded in Thailand, and then he supposedly had a motorcycle accident. Of course, he was apparently drunk and not wearing a helmet, and now he is apparently in a coma in a hospital, and they set up a GoFundMe for him. Interestingly enough though, and I'm not accusing this guy of anything, but still, you can find a lot about this guy on the internet about having some sort of scam company, and also only 1 or 2 weeks before his accident he was posting on Instagram all the Rolex watches that he bought and the fancy new $300,000 car that he paid out of pocket. Those cases really make you think, but either way, let's continue with the update. Update: Cancer Hoax. My husband finally caved and admitted he does not have cancer. He was seeing an endocrinologist for an unrelated condition, gender dysphoria, and was using the money from our second mortgage and GoFundMe for treatment. I made an appointment with a divorce lawyer, and that lawyer is going to refer me to yet another lawyer to help me sort out the massive debt I am in because of this situation, but he doesn't think I can be charged with fraud. Thank you to everyone in this community for your sympathy and support. And guys, please let me know in the comments what you think about this story, because in my opinion, I think something here does not seem quite right. Maybe I'm alone with that feeling here, but let me know what you think in the comments. And the next one is titled, I need to exit my business, but my partner is being unresponsive. What is the best strategy? A few years ago, I became a partial owner in an online business that my friend started. We are a multi-member LLC, taxed like a partnership in Oregon. I and one other partner own 20% each, and the guy who started the business owns 60%. For a number of reasons, I need to exit this business and move on with my life. We do not have an operating agreement. I know that is stupid, please don't beat me up about it. I tried hard for a long time to get everyone to sign onto one, but it never got done. I gave notice to both partners that I intend to exit about 2 weeks ago. The minor partner has accepted that, and we are working on a transition plan. The major partner so far has not responded to any communication. I assume he is frustrated and not ready to talk. All communication has been by email because we travel frequently and run the business remotely. Because he is a friend and I care about the success of the business, I plan to continue to try to engage him and structure my exit in a way that is fair to the business and my partners. So now my question, what do I need to be doing right now to make sure I cover all my own bases and do this right, considering that my partner is being unresponsive? Do I need to be sending certified mail, or is email good enough? Email with red receipt, something else? What kind of timeline should I be operating on? I have many more questions actually, but I'm trying not to think too far ahead and take this one step at a time. The research I've done so far leads me to believe that in Oregon, LLC members can remove themselves from a business 6 months after giving notice, but still retain economic interest in that business. Sort of like a last-ditch way to make an exit when agreement simply cannot be reached otherwise. I have worked really hard on this business and it is mildly successful, more than 100,000 annual profit. It is important to me that I protect my own rights economically while exiting the business in an upstanding way. There are probably a million ways this can go, and who knows what will happen next week, but what should my next steps be? Thanks in advance. And PS, I expect this to take some time to resolve, so I look forward to posting updates and continuing through the whole process here. And a user in the comments suggested, hire an attorney experienced in small business law in the state of Oregon to help you sort this out. It is what your next step should be. And another fella said, I would give it more time and keep trying to get in contact with the major partner for now. As you said, you all travel a lot. Is the other minor partner willing to buy out your share? And by the way guys, if you have watched until here, please don't forget to post some star emojis in the comments and also like the video if you want to support me. Thank you so much in advance, your help is very much appreciated. And the next one is an update and it is titled Denied Counsel by 2 Lawyers for Conflict of Interest. This is a continuation of this issue with an additional question. You all told me my situation was too complicated for legal advice and to get a lawyer, so I did. Or at least, I tried. I started by contacting a lawyer friend. We spoke a little about my situation, but he decided it was a conflict of interest to advise me because he has a relationship with the partner I am having issues with. Fair enough, so I contacted a business development program I've worked with in the past, and they set me up with a consultation with one of their lawyers, who works for a local firm and volunteers time to the program. The meeting was supposed to be this morning, but I got a call from the program director telling me they had to cancel because the lawyer identified a conflict of interest. She couldn't tell me what the COI was because she didn't know. Maybe some of you have an idea what it could be. Any tips for how to avoid this in the future? I could never have predicted this going to a totally detached third party for help. I'm continuing my search, but have now wasted a month and I am starting to go a little crazy. And a user in the comments said, it does not matter what the conflict of interest is, find a totally unrelated attorney that is not connected to anyone you know or to you in any way. This is not bizarre, you just are not looking far enough outside of your world. Your local bar association can provide referrals. And the next one is once again an update and it is titled, Can I sue my a-hole business partner in small claims to force him to make distributions to me? First, a quick update. I hired a non-litigation business attorney to help me figure out what my rights as an owner were. He was helpful, but that didn't go anywhere. My non-responsive partner finally contacted me after months of silent treatment while I continued to run the business, and the results were disappointing. A few weeks ago, he decided I am no longer involved in the business, removed me from our bank account, stopped making distributions, and sent me a generous contract offering the opportunity to return my equity in exchange for not suing me for something. His threats were vague. Now, onto the show. So now I have hired a litigation attorney who is the best and most expensive in town. I will ultimately be following his advice, but I had an idea I thought I would flesh out here before passing it by him in case it saves me some time. Read dollars discussing hypotheticals with him. It is assumed that as long as my partner does not buy me out, I am due my pro rata share of distributions anytime they are made to other partners, and I am not obligated to provide any further service to the business. Buyout talks are going nowhere right now, so my thought is, can I just wait for them to make a distribution to themselves and then sue them in small claims to recover my share? Seems like it could be an easy way to make myself whole one little bit at a time and perhaps motivate him to have a more honest buyout discussion. It is unlikely my share of any distribution would be over the small claims cap, which is $10,000. Is this a decent idea for a remedy? If so, who would I name as defendants? The company? My two partners? All of the above? And how will I know if a distribution is made in the first place now that I've been removed from the bank account? I know I am entitled to inspect company documents, but not sure what I would ask for in this situation or if I could believe the accounting records that are sent. And another update to the business partner story. Hey folks, you may know me from my earlier popular threads. I have a lawyer, 2 of them actually, and I listen to them and do as they tell me. I come here because I am slightly neurotic, and being neurotic with your lawyer is not a financially sound practice. Today I have a brief update and another question. First, the update to entertain. For the last 8 months, my lawyer has been hounding the business's lawyer for the financial records I am entitled to have access to, and we were either led on only to receive nothing after many promises to deliver, or stonewalled altogether. Finally, in November, we filed suit against the business in Big Boy Court to receive injunctive relief, requesting the business records and legal fees, which we believe were due under Oregon law. The registered agent, my business partner, evaded service until January, then we received no answer to the suit until the day after we filed notice of intent to take default. The answer was filed by a different lawyer, same firm, denying all allegations and claiming I do not actually have interest in the business. They also got in touch, a third lawyer again, same firm, at the same time saying,
"Let's talk, what do you want?"
We said, "We want to be bought out." They asked,
"Okay, how much?"
We said, "Send the damn records over so we can tell you." They said,
"Okay, give us 2 days. We have them, but our admin needs to label them."
They are running 2 different storylines, one officially in the lawsuit and another in what at least feels like an attempt to negotiate. That was 2 weeks ago. We've been hounding them again and are being stonewalled again. Based on the history of this case and my long-standing relationship with my partner, I am no longer convinced they intend to negotiate at all, and our conversations so far are really just another attempt to delay. However, this morning it was uncovered that the business has altered some official documents to be very much not in my favor. My lawyers are frickin' pissed, and we are scheduled to chat next week about potentially moving to a contingency agreement. Which brings me to my question. What do I need to think about before accepting a contingency agreement? I know the basic things to think about, ultimate value of case, cost to pursue and contingency fee, but I really don't know anything else. Are there other factors to consider? I feel like being offered contingency is a godsend for most because it removes the uncertainty of the cost of litigation. That is enticing for me as well, but I'm also not destitute, and so far I've been pretty happy with how efficient my lawyers have operated. I feel like it is not a tremendous hardship for me to keep funding the operation, at least for now, and keep all the still uncertain spoils. Any advice on how to approach this? And now, the final update to the business partner's story. The important point so far, and I think by the way guys, this is a pretty good summary, I was a minority shareholder in a small business in Oregon, I also worked in that business, I decided I wanted to no longer work in the business. The majority owner decided he did not like that, so he fired me instead, froze me out of the bank accounts, stopped my distributions, and threatened to sue me to get back all the money I ever received from the business. That was scary and frustrating, so I got a lawyer. Now the update. After spending months trying to peacefully resolve everything and getting stonewalled, we filed a document inspection lawsuit in November to compel my partner to produce all our agreements and financial documents so we could at least understand what the heck he was doing and to figure out just how bad he was screwing me. My lawyer, who has practiced for 30 plus years and said he's never had to file an inspection suit before because in Oregon it comes with attorney fees. No one allows themselves to be sued for that because it is a big liability. My partner dodged service for 2 months, so we were not able to get the ball rolling until January. He had a lawyer this whole time, but they never agreed to accept service. And then more stonewalling. We ended up filing notice of intent to take default. The next day they filed an answer to the suit denying everything and countersuing for attorney fees, which apparently they cannot actually get. In March, my lawyer's assistant was doing some routine research and just happened to find that the business filed amended documents with the state that completely omitted me as a member/owner. He was trying to erase me. My lawyer decided the best thing to do was to continue the inspection suit and file a new suit naming my partner personally for breach of fiduciary duty, or whatever you pronounce that. That way, he could try to do as much useful discovery as possible under the inspection suit where we could get attorney fees back and use all that discovery again in the individual suit where we couldn't. This is also the point at which he offered to represent me on contingency, which was a huge relief for me because he's expensive and things were escalating. He also credited the fees I'd already paid towards future costs and expenses, which helped a lot. Even though the other side was making no effort to resolve the problem, that really felt like a positive turning point because I think getting a lawyer on contingency for a business/contract dispute is pretty unusual. I later learned my lawyer offered contingency because my partner pissed him off and he wanted to keep turning the screws on him. He didn't want me to bail. I get the impression he's getting towards the end of his career and just likes to work on cases that interest him now. Fast forward a few months and we depose my partner. That experience pissed my lawyer off even more. I was not there, but reading the transcript was both sad and hilarious. My lawyer said it was the third most frustrating deposition he's ever taken. Oh well, guess you cannot be first at everything. After the deposition, partner's attorney got in touch to offer a settlement. He was on his third lawyer at this point, by the way. It was a terrible offer, so we said, no thanks, but we will do mediation if you want. They agreed, which is tragically comical to me. Mediation was my partner's idea that I agreed to before any of this insanity ever started. But he changed his mind at the last minute and I never heard from him again. We spent a full day in mediation and at the end accepted a mediated settlement when negotiations broke down. The settlement, once the contingency fee was subtracted, was not far from what I thought I was owed, so I was happy to accept it and put an end to an emotionally draining 2-year saga. I often second-guessed myself throughout this process and felt guilty for suing someone I once cared so much about, but really he brought it upon himself. And I am happy that I stood up for myself and I am not spending the rest of my life asking, why did I let him get away with that? My ex-partner has a very strong cult of personality that has served him well. He's very charming and convinced most people to do what he wants. I don't think anyone's ever stood up to him like that before and it caught him flat-footed. The whole process was confusing because he never made a logical move until he was truly backed into a corner and was facing trial. At every turn I wondered, is this a trap? Do they have some epic strategy I cannot see? The longer things dragged on, the more I realized they didn't. There was no strategy involved beyond ignoring me until they couldn't anymore. Though my bank account is much healthier today. I have to say, the money really rings hollow. I lost a friend and a partner in this debacle, but it was obvious I was going to lose that anyway, so better to have the money than not have it, I guess. And I am very thankful that I found the lawyer that I did. I probably could not have sustained the fight all the way through trial without a contingency agreement. I could tell he really loved his job, and I think he is a little bummed we are not going to trial. Wow guys, and unfortunately we have not already, but we have reached the end of this epic saga. Please let me know in the comments what you think about this story and if you enjoyed the really long legal advice stories with dozens of updates. In addition, I would just like to remind you, lately YouTube was not really kind to me and it seems like they barely recommend my videos to my existing subscribers anymore. So in order to fight that, it would be awesome if you could click the bell button and select all notifications for my channel to not miss any of my videos. Thank you so much for watching, I really appreciate your support. I hope you have a fantastic day and I see you again tomorrow.